Hometown hero David Freese signing autographs prior to tonight's game. The Chicago Cubs make their way to St. Louis. Game 1 of a weekend series. It's considered one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports, the Cubs and the Cards. And in any great rivalry, there are memorable moments. Stan the Man's 3,000th hit at Wrigley Field. In 1998, there was the great home run chase between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. The race to Roger Maris, then the race to 70. Early 2000s, it was great theater. Dusty Baker, Tony La Russa going back and forth as Chicago and St. Louis battled in the NL Central Division, and that rivalry continues tonight. Always fun to see that shot. That's sure Rick Horton and Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Rick, very tough homestand so far for the Cardinals, dropping 3 of 4 to begin against L.A.
Yeah, rough start against L.A. The Dodgers were very good. In fact, the only Dodger they could beat was the league's best pitcher, Clay. And probably reminded the Cardinals of just what it was like to be a St. Louis Cardinal opponent in the first half of the season. That's the team they want to get back to.
And Al, the Cardinals need wins. They'll face a Cubs team that has dropped now 9 of 11. Much different looking team since the trade deadline.
Well, they are. They've got a lot of new faces, and they're still struggling. But that's what the Cardinals need right now. They need a sub-500 team. The Cardinals are 45-20 when they play a team 500 or under.
Well, it's Lance Lynn who gets the start here tonight, the right-hander for St. Louis. Friday night baseball on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. In his last start, and that was over the weekend against Cincinnati. He went 8 innings. Both were season highs. He'll look to build upon that start and try to pick up a win in this Friday night against Chicago, Al.
And one of his favorite opponents when he's facing the Cubs here in Busch Stadium. 3 starts, 3-0, 0 4.93 ERA in 4 games. Let's hope for more of the same.
We heard moments ago in the pregame show, different looking lineup, but not at the top. Matt Carpenter in that starting lineup for the Redbirds tonight. This 2013 campaign, they start 20 games out, but Starlin Castro, they figure, is a cornerstone franchise-type player, and he's in the lineup tonight. America's new sports network, it's almost here. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for live sports. Shows like Crowd Goes Wild, Fox Football Daily, and Fox Sports Live. The news and highlight show fans have been waiting for. It's America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. It premieres August 17th. We'll have more on that tomorrow and again on Sunday. Cards, Cubs, game 1 of a weekend series coming up.
Louis have something at stake, a reason to play, and a reason to fight, a reason to watch. In 2004 and 2005, the Cardinals battled the Astros in back-to-back LCS. In 2010, the Reds and Redbirds battled for real. And in 2011, St. Louis and Milwaukee were the last two standing for the NL pennant. So far this year, the Pirates seem legit and might be the only obstacle between St. Louis and another division title. But what about the Cubs? The Cardinal-Cub rivalry dates back to the 19th century. It's long been considered one of baseball's greatest. Despite the difference in the standings, the Cubs and Cardinals will always play meaningful baseball and will always be rivals because the spirit of the fans is where this rivalry abides. The tradition and history is still alive and well. From the Ivy to the Clydesdales, from Ernie Banks to the banks of the Mississippi, it doesn't matter that Chicago has the wind and St. Louis has the winds, because from Sandberg versus Suter, from Santo to Stan, the Cardinals-Cubs rivalry is alive and well thanks to the fans. This rivalry doesn't need fuel on its fire. All it needs is a stadium and a start time. First pitch coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.
And coming off a very impressive performance last time out over the weekend against Cincinnati when the Cardinals took 2 of 3, and that was on Sunday afternoon. A reminder that Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Big crowd on hand tonight as we turn to Rick Horton's keys to the game.
Cardinals are going to face a left-hander for the 3rd time in this homestand. They did beat Clayton Kershaw, but it's been a problem all year long. They need to get the right-handed bats going, and of course they need a sharp Lance Lynn. He has been that way his last 3 outings, been much more direct to the plate, ahead in counts, and he's avoided the big inning.
Kia's starter is the right-hander Lance Lynn. 24th start of the season, 13-5. The way things have gone for Lynn at times, you wouldn't think he'd be, well, that far above the 500 mark at 13-5. Among the league leaders in wins, he has been outstanding when he's right. So, Al, we're going to see Lance Lynn on tonight.
Well, we are. He's 31 combined wins between last year and this year. That's second best in the majors. The Cardinals are 37-17 and hit 54 career starts, 15-8 this year. And this is one of his favorite opponents. He doesn't pitch particularly well against Chicago in the Windy City, but he pitches very well here, where he is 3-0 with an ERA at 1. Opponents are batting 177 against him and 8+ strikeouts per 9 innings.
Junior Lake, a left fielder and a young player for the Cubs that they are high on, is now their leadoff man. Valbuena is on the disabled list, the sore oblique. They called up Junior Lake, and all he has done is hit, and hit a lot. 6'3", 215 pounds. Originally signed as a 16-year-old back in 2007. 29 hits in his first 21 career games. That is just remarkable and a historic start in Cubs history.
Well, like Castro, the shortstop, they were both 16-year-old Dominicans when they were signed. In fact, what the Cubs folks will say about Lake is think Castro, but bigger and stronger. And really haven't quite figured out what his position is. He's in left field tonight, but he's still developing as a player.
And he's a converted infielder. He's got a little pop in his bat, but he also has good speed. So he'll bunt. He'll do a lot of little things. One thing that they know is he'll really hustle.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. The same agent and at that time scout that signed both Castro and the man at the plate, Junior Lake. There's a look at Dale Swaim, the manager of the Chicago Cubs.
I mentioned he'll hustle. In his very first game against Jorge De La Rosa, he hit a double on the first pitch he saw, and then on the second pitch he stole third.
Mainstay for so many years in Chicago, Alfonso Soriano, and now with the Yankees. So Junior Lake, chance to play every day in left field. 3-2 is a fly ball lifted out to left. Holiday is there, one away. This is a Cubs team that this season on the road has hit just .230. You just saw Lake, their leadoff man. Gillespie and Rizzo here in the first. De Jesus batting cleanup.
What does that tell you?
Murphy, Castillo, Castro, Barney, and Grusin. Dobbs defense for St. Louis, with Adams getting another start. Pair of home runs in his last 4 games, so he's at first base. And that pitch is taken low by Cole Gillespie, hitting .205, 17 games with the Chicago Cubs. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That's taken high. 2 balls, no strikes.
Gillespie, one of these journeymen that they picked up recently. And he's kind of a reputation of good glove, no hit.
And calling the balls and strikes tonight, David Rackley. Larry Vanover down at first. Tony Randazzo at second. And the crew chief is Brian Gorman. He's down at third. 2 balls and 1 strike. One thing that we noticed on Sunday with Lance Lynn, and he's made a concerted effort, you touched upon it, Rick, to do this, speed up his tempo. Now, a byproduct of speeding up his tempo is the fact that there weren't many runners on against him. He had allowed just 2 hits through the first 6 innings. But also doing that, going with that fastball an awful lot. First strikeout of the night for Lance Lynn.
He can get strikeouts down in the zone and up in the zone. This time he goes up against Gillespie. And I think when you're talking about Lance Lynn, you're talking about mound presence as well as tempo. And kind of the quicker he works and the more confident he is on the mound, the better off he is. That's true of all pitchers, of course. And Lance Lynn, during that kind of rough stretch he had, was also giving up runs in bunches because he was kind of just not making the pitch when he needed it, but he's back on track, or appears to be.
And it seems like since he had that talk with Mike Matheny, he really has taken it to heart. His tempo is much quicker. He's presenting a more positive persona to his teammates, and the results have been very good.
At the plate, it's Anthony Rizzo. No balls and 2 strikes. He leads the Cubs with 54 walks, and he has some pop. 32 doubles, second best in the National League, but struggling 3 for his last 23.
At his 24th birthday yesterday, 1 for 5 in the 12-1 shellacking by Philly.
Mention it in the open. The Cubs have dropped 9 of their last 11 as they rebuild yet again. This time under Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer. That combination trying to retool their farm system and not just throw a lot of money at free agents, but many teams in franchises have looked at how the Cardinals have done this. Sustained success, and they point to the farm system and developing players.
Cardinals were able to do it without really going through a lot of losing seasons to do it. That's what's been so miraculous. They just kind of stopped signing some of the more expensive free agents and started investing in young players while the team was playing in October. The Cubs do not have that luxury. They have to be patient. The fan base has to be patient. And we all know how hard that is to be when it's been so long for Chicago.
Right down the middle on a 3-2 fastball. 95 from Lance Lynn. Rizzo thought it was low. 2 strikeouts in the top of the first for the big righty. Line up, Carpenter, Freese, and Craig. That's right, David Freese batting second for the first time this year. Then it's Holiday, Adams, and Cruz, John Jay, Cosma, and the pitcher Lance Lynn hitting 111. Cubs defense, Lake, DeJesus, Gillespie, Murphy, and Castro on the left side. Barney and Rizzo on the right side. Castillo is behind the plate. And it's Russin who is on the mound, a lefty, getting the start tonight for Chicago.
Guy's not overpowering left-hander. He came up last year, had a few starts for the Chicago Cubs. Really relies on just confidence of being left-handed and throwing strikes. He's kind of a pitch maker. Tops out at about 90 miles an hour. Numbers are pretty good this season. In fact, they say he's pitched better than his numbers even indicate. And we all know the Cardinals have had some issues with lefties at times this season.
He's, as you said, not an overpowering guy, relies on his sinker and changeup. He was a AAA All-Star this year in the Pacific Coast League, so some of the younger players probably have a little better idea.
The Cardinals, in their last 304 plate appearances against left-handed pitching, have 1 home run. Cardinals have had 61 games this year in which they have not hit a home run. And that homerless drought, we saw that full display right around the All-Star break and certainly right after.
Cardinals have shown how to score runs without the home run. Still lead the league in runs scored, but the one thing they say about this young left-hander, he does not want to have to throw his fastball for strikes.
The 2-1 pitch. Taken low, 3-1 by Carpenter. 44 multi-hit games for Matt Carpenter, and he's had 4 of those in his last 5. It was 6 for 18 against the Dodgers. Russin missed his spot, but Carpenter missed the baseball. 3-2. So David Freese, the hometown hero, on deck and batting second in this lineup. As Carpenter hits it sharply to Rizzo for the first out. And there's one away.
Rizzo was playing well off the line and hit that ball right to him. Good placement.
To me, it's a series, guys, in which the Cardinals need at least 2 of 3, if not sweep the Chicago Cubs and get back on track.
I think you got to win today, taking 1 game at a time, but you really, because of how they've been losing against good teams, they got to think sweep. How about the infield shifted to third base and the outfield shifted to right field?
Rizzo is way off the line at first. Darwin Barney towards the bag at second. Big gap in left center. David Freese has been on base more than anybody else in this lineup since the All-Star break. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on, as Busch Stadium is filled up on this Friday night.
One thing about David Freese of late is he's swinging with authority. You do not see the defensive swings that we saw a month or 2 ago where he was just kind of battling to put the ball in play. He's letting it go right now, which I think is a sign of his confidence.
Early in August, 423 average, but the average is okay against left-handers, but not production. 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 264.
First strikeout for Chris Russin, 2 away. First bank, first take. And Chicago since June 21st, so this is going back to the last time we saw the Cubs here at Busch Stadium. They played okay on the road at 13-10.
The Dodgers are a bit more than okay at 22-4. We had a taste of that here on this homestand. The Pirates also playing well, but the Cubs, I would say that is a surprising number.
They have 27 wins on the road this year. And you think about last year, they, at this point, after 58 games, they were 16-42. So improvement.
Right now, this strike zone is big. Players will adjust. Alan Craig is 5th in the league at 318. And his RBIs at 86, second best in the National League. And goodbye. A strikeout of Craig. Freese didn't like the strike zone. Neither did Craig. Hey, neither did Anthony Rizzo. struggling. Cardinals, since getting to 25 games above the 500 mark, are just 4-11 since that time. And trying to figure out different combinations with his lineup. No Yadier Molina, although he seems to be progressing, and we'll see him shortly. But clearly that's been a big loss, as Yadi still not able to play. And then you wonder how much he will play once he's back in there.
Well, he will come off, as everything is indicated now, on the 15th. That's the first day he's eligible. But I think you're right. They'll probably try and carry 3 catchers, because he's going to probably get a little more rest the rest of the way through. But still, I think it's just having his bat back will be a big lift.
David DeJesus, who primarily has been either a bottom of the order guy for Dale Swain, at times at the top of the lineup, but tonight batting cleanup for the Chicago Cubs.
Well, he's a guy that's giving the most professional at-bats that you find on this team. He's maybe the more patient type hitter that will work the count a bit and spray the ball all over the field, and certainly a big league hitter and a very productive guy. But to think of him as your cleanup guy, your go-to guy, is probably stretching it a bit.
And we're only going to see him in this position probably tonight, because Scherholz will be back. He just needed a rest today, and I'm sure with his 15 home runs is a little more better of a choice than DeJesus.
But I think the idea is that it shows you right now the depth that they have at the major league level, to where even if a Scherholz is going to be a cleanup man, you would have a different option than DeJesus. Lifts it out to center. John Jay makes the catch, and there's one away. No Adam Wainwright this weekend, but we will see his look-alike, and that's Michael Wacha. Jim Hayes, he'll get the start in Game 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, Michael Wacha is here. He'll be officially recalled tomorrow and will get the start. He says no one's talked to him about how long he'll stay or what his role will be beyond tomorrow. He's just excited to be here. He says upon going back to Memphis for his last stint, he worked on some things, including keeping the ball down in the strike zone. Physically, he says he feels strong and the arm is fresh. The Cardinals really spaced him out in Memphis since being sent back down. He had only 6 starts, and he says he's more than capable of helping the Cardinals in the stretch run should they decide to keep him around, guys. All
right, thank you, Jim. Here is Donnie Murphy at the plate. He looks at his strike. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out and nobody on. We saw Carlos Martinez get the start, and the 5th rookie to start a ball game for the Cardinals, as he went 4 2/3. We saw him throw hard, but big 3-run homer by Ellis did him in. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network. I love doing this, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea, watching everywhere and protecting our freedoms. We appreciate and thank you for everything you do for us, all the men and women of our armed forces watching tonight. 2 outs, and it brings in Wellington Castillo.
Talking about Carlos Martinez, and for those who may have missed it, Carlos Martinez fine today. He got taken out of the game after that home run. He had a cramp in his finger, and Mike Matheny saying before the game that it was really a hydration issue. He said we've had a number of players go through that this year, and there's something about what's happening, the way they're hydrating, and he said it was a cramp, essentially a cramp. He was taking batting practice today, swinging the bat like there was no issue, so that's the good news. Martinez did not have any kind of an injury that's going to linger.
Electric stuff.
How do you have cramps with everything that they have going today and weather that's in the 70s and night games?
So what you're saying, Al, you'd hate to see some of these guys maybe
play on the turf
at
on a Sunday when it's 140
Stadium.
degrees on the turf. Are some of our friends where they're stationed on the Armed Forces Services Network?
Well, I think it's fair to ask the question, as long as we're talking about that, what about living in Colinas del Sur, Dominican Republic all your life?
Hot. Yeah.
Certainly playing baseball in the Dominican has got its challenges too, and for some reason that's been an issue this year.
Under the glove of Cosma and into left field. 2-out base hit for Castillo. been a disappointing season in some ways for Starlin Castro. As you get a look at the Chevy Fox tracks, disappointing in the fact that Castro is hitting just .245, but yet last month and a half, Cubs personnel telling us his defense has been outstanding, and it's been to the point where they feel it's been above average, not only making the routine plays but then mixing in the exceptional plays that we know that he can make.
Why is his offense suffering for it?
Expanded zone.
There are some are concerned about this rebuilding phase where you're building around Rizzo and Castro and even throw in Barney, and some of these guys are even taking steps backwards, not forwards. And some of them have been locked up for a lot of money for many years into the future.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and a runner at first. If you look at how teams have attacked the Chicago Cubs this year, Cardinals have the right guy on the mound because Lance Lynn can throw that fastball in the mid-90s. The Cubs up and down this lineup really struggle with the fastball.
Exactly what I was going to say about Castro. The book on him right now is he is struggling to hit the good fastball, and that is Lynn's put-away pitch.
Off the end of the bat, slowly hit. Kozma makes the play, and Castro is retired. Swinging a hot bat lately has been the cleanup man for the Cardinals, Matt Holliday. He'll lead it off when we come back. Matt Holliday for the second half run of 2009, and he experienced his first Cubs-Cardinals rivalry in that second half and won a game with a walk-off homer September 18th of 2009. The walk-off homer for Holliday against Chicago. Saw the pregame show some of those walk-off home runs the Cardinals have had against the Cubs. Some walk-off walks along the way, too. Cardinals skipper Mike Matheny at Busch Stadium, too, had a walk-off walk. Think of Gary Bennett, our colleague at Fox Sports Midwest, with a weekend that he'll never forget. As Holliday takes a ball upstairs. He had a couple of bombs against Chicago, back-to-back games.
Exactly.
Was one a grand slam?
One of them was a grand slam. That's ripped into center field. Holliday starting to swing the bat very well. Hitting streak now at 7 games, hitting close to 400 during that streak. Barnes Jewish Hospital difference maker, the BJC Healthcare difference maker, and that is since July 27th. Cardinal left fielder Matt Holliday.
And we don't have the miles per hour for you, but I can tell you a lot of those 19 hits were rockets. Really gotten back to driving the ball up the middle, driving the ball through the infield, and I think the home runs are going to come.
Yeah, and you mentioned that 7-game hitting streak. It's also 13 of the last 15, and he's reached base every game since the DL. Matt Adams has to have had a matchup with this young lefty at the Pacific Coast League.
2 home runs last 4 games for Adams. He's now jumped up to 9. He's driven in 34. Short lead at first by Holliday, and the pitch is taken low. So just how hard did Holliday hit that? Look at that, 107.6.
Getting up there.
Think about guys that are hitting it, Ricky, that hard. And then you think about the play with Shelby Miller the other night. Scary stuff.
Well, that really
was a rocket too.
Took your breath away. Really did. And just thankful that Shelby Miller came in the very next day and said really no ill effects whatsoever. And in some ways his arm felt better than if he had started and thrown 110 pitches the day before. I found that incredibly good news that Shelby Miller was that optimistic about making his next start.
He's checking his eyesight now, but you couldn't have caught that. You had your back to the home plate.
2 strikes on Adams, and earlier today Shelby Miller working in his bullpen.
Tossed yesterday, the day after being hit on the elbow, and here doing a normal bullpen. And he said yesterday that he would make his next start. Don Mozeliak said he would make his next start, and I think Shelby probably convinced Mike Matheny.
Out there, back to first, and safe is Holliday. They had Castro positioned perfectly with that shift on for Adams.
Kind of a funny shift, but it worked perfectly. There's a shortstop almost behind second base, right over the mound, and jumps up. Good base running by Holliday not to get doubled off.
Here's Tony Cruz. Average at .224, 1 home run, and he's driven in 11. Cardinals and Cubs here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals have outscored Chicago 40-9 in the last 2 series. They've won 6 of 7 against Chicago here at Busch. Pitched well and all kinds of offense in those 2 series.
And Cubs will be here for the final weekend of the regular season, while Pittsburgh and Cincinnati will be playing against each other. They play 6 times in the last 9 games of the year.
.1-0 is popped up. You can hear Anthony Rizzo up here. Calling for it, makes the catch, and there's 2 away. AT&T Twitter poll. Which team has been the biggest disappointment? The Angels, the Cubs, the Giants, or the Nationals? I don't think it's been Chicago, because it's been a rebuilding year.
Yeah,
and they've come out and said that. But when you go out and sign Pujols and Hamilton, that's a disappointment. The Giants have won the World Series 2 of the last 3 years. To me, it's got to be the Angels or the Nationals. And Davey Johnson said, if we don't get to the World Series,
I should be fired.
I should be fired.
He's quitting, so that's kind of an easy thing to say at the end of the year. But certainly a lot of expectations in Washington, and the Angels just never got on track, did they?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking maybe our Cardinal fans might just want to have put a little nail in the coffin. So they might say the most disappointing is the Cubs.
Here's the 0-1 to John Jay. 12 hits in 7 August games for John Jay, and he's hit safely in 9 of his last 11. So he, along with David Freese, quietly have been 2 of the better hitters in this lineup for Mike Matheny. 0-2 pitch. Foul ball off his foot.
John Jay got 12 hits in the month of August. That's third best in the National League. He's hit in 9 of 11 games, and he has multi-hit games in 3 of his last 6.
So then the question becomes, why? How is he doing this? Is it a change in the stance? Is the bat elevated a little bit more, not laying on the shoulder as much? The helicopter hands, have they quieted just a bit? That slice is foul, out of play. Nothing into the count on Jay.
I don't think there's much question that John Jay's hands are quieter. Mike Matheny said early in the season that he has about 10 moving parts, and we're trying to get rid of 3 or 4 of them. And I would say that's probably about what's happened. Certainly the bat's more upright than it was early in the season, but also a lot less movement.
Remember, initially we saw him hold the bat higher, and he had great success. And it kind of tailed off, and now he's kind of maybe come down to a comfortable stance, something that he can, like a repeatable delivery, a repeatable hitting mechanism and trigger points, something without all that movement. It is much quieter.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Jay. That's fair. Off the glove of Rizzo. Holiday on his way to third. It'll be a double for John Jay as Rizzo couldn't come up with it. Went off his glove, and he looked right back down at the glove as if to say, well, there's a hole in this glove. Major Leagues, he'll tell you he probably should have had it. As Matt Holliday, no hesitation with 2 outs, winds up at third.
That ball was hit awful hard, and remember, he's holding on Holiday. Then he bounces to his right, and that ball's to his backhand. Now, if he was wearing a Rawlings glove, it would have stuck in there, but apparently he's not.
Hard ground ball by Matt Carpenter in the first inning. Line drive by Matt Adams in this inning, and now a hard hit ball by John Jay. The 3 left-handers so far have not seemed to be fazed by this lefty Russin.
And it'll be intentional walk here to Kozma to get to Lance Lynn. Pete Kozma in the 8th spot in the Cardinal lineup, receiving his 6th intentional walk. John Jay has 7 to lead the Cardinals.
Talk about the Cardinal lefties in this lineup. Mike Matheny was almost pained to have to talk about not having Carlos Beltran for this game today. He really felt like that was a problem because Beltran could help attack this lefty Russin, but really Carlos the last 2 days was dragging so much, and Mike, in kind of consultation with Carlos and the training staff, just felt like he absolutely needed a day off today no matter who's pitching, but kind of pained him to have to make that choice.
So the bases are loaded here for Lance Lynn. No home runs. He's driven in 2, 4 for 36 this year. And Lynn backs away from ball 1. Crowd still filing in on this Friday night. Holiday, Jay, Kozma all aboard. The 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
This young lefty may not put it past him to walk him.
You see that too. Russin
didn't want to talk to his catcher.
Castillo just waving him off, and Castillo trying to settle him down.
Dan, what am I doing right now?
It's a take sign, Dan, in case you don't know.
Thanks, Al. Best insight you've had all year.
Thanks.
I didn't give Dan the indicator.
I still had to let him know what it was.
Bottom line, he better be taken here.
Not a bad rip.
2-2. And a strikeout of Lynn. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. Weekend coming up, and for kids 15 and younger, this is your weekend. Saturday, August 24th, 12,000 kids get a one-of-a-kind Fredbird Kids Cap courtesy of Ice Mountain. Sunday the 25th, 12,000 kids receive their very own Fredbird Build-A-Bear Workshop. So get your tickets right now at cardinals.com/promotions. 8-9-1 in the lineup for Chicago. Darwin Barney, Chris Russin, and the top of the lineup, Junior Lake. Chicago really could have a say with what happens with the NL Central and playoff positioning, including tonight. They have 19 games remaining with the Cardinals, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati, and 9 of those 19 against the St. Louis Cardinals. You can play spoiler. These are teams sometimes that clubs in contention don't want to face.
You're absolutely right. You know, everyone assumes that the top teams will just walk all over them and beat them. But these young players got a lot of pride. They're trying to make a statement.
That's up the middle, base hit, Darwin Barney. Also, Al, to follow up your point, you just play free and easy, nothing to lose.
Exactly right. They just, their whole existence right now is to be a spoiler, and they get a charge out of it. That's why it's one of the real important things is to get a lead on them. Get a lead on them, and then they kind of you know, well, okay, we played hard for a while. We'll come back and we'll play even harder tomorrow. But if you get a lead on these clubs, if they get a lead on you, then all of a sudden they think that they can play with you, and sometimes you play down to their level.
The sacrifice is good. Any way you want to look at it, offensively, the Cardinals miss his bat. MVP candidate Yadier Molina, and he's an extension of the coaching staff. And this is not a shot at Tony Cruz. Cardinals have been very pleased with the way that he has called games, what he's done defensively, but a guy like Molina is such a difference maker any way you want to look at it.
Well, you think that maybe he could help a pitcher who's struggling come up with some kind of confident pitch, especially thinking about the young pitchers coming out of the bullpen, the Blasiks and the Butlers, and some of those runs were kind of piled on by young guys that just had rough outings. I mean, really rough outings. And I'm not sure anybody could have done anything with the Jake Westbrook game his last time out, because that was such a tough situation for Jake Westbrook. But Yadi, if anybody can find a way to get a pitcher through a game, it's Yadier Molina.
Talking an awful lot there with Adrian Chambers. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Junior Lake. Flied out to left to start the game. 2 balls and no strikes. Luis Valbuena has been their leadoff man. He's out with an oblique injury. And Dale Swain had some interesting comments about all the oblique injuries the last 5 to 10 years in baseball. He said, I've never seen anything like it until really the last decade or so, and even more so the last 5 years. 3-0. He said maybe this is a byproduct of the fact that these guys are swinging too much.
I totally agree. Totally agree. They all hit way too much, and then, like you say, you get tired, your muscles get fatigued, and then you try and swing harder, and you pull something.
He said we have guys that come in, road games, they're in the cage at 1 o'clock, go work out 3 o'clock, have a little something to eat, on the field by 5, hitting again. You know, so there's an awful lot of swings. A ton of those swings prior to the actual game. Taken inside, and that is officially ball 4. Junior Lake wearing number 21. Previous player that wore number 21 filled out that jersey a little bit bigger.
And he hit the ball a little bit farther.
First walk issued by Lynn. Sammy Sosa. Runners at first and second. Cole Gillespie struck out swinging back in the first inning. And Lynn would love a double play here. Had a fun conversation with Red Shandies today. We talked about something as simple as a double play. He said, what's the key for a second baseman when you're teaching? And he still is teaching. And he said it's the choppy steps that a second baseman, and he said to an extent a shortstop must have going to the bag. He said because you can never count on the fact that your feed from third, from your pitcher, whatever the case may be, your shortstop is going to be at your chest. So you keep your balance with those short choppy steps, and you're able to move to your left, to your right. He said jump. And he said I never went in with the idea that this is the exact way that you have to turn a double play, which I found incredibly interesting, because some people will teach, well, this is the only way you do it. This foot's got to be here. You back off. He said, how could you possibly do that? Because you have to look at the runner at first, the speed, how hard the ball is hit, your feed. He said all those things go into play in turning two.
What sticks out in there is somebody trying to teach and says there's only one way. That's wrong with everything, whether it's hitting, pitching, or taking the feeds on a double play.
So all those field things, Jose Oquendo also working with the infielders, talking with them about is they have to develop an instinct for just how to turn that double play, and the choppy steps make a lot of sense. A pitcher has to do that when they cover the first base bag. It's the same theory. If you have a long step, you're committed, and if the ball is either too far to your left or to your right, you can't make an adjustment. That short, choppy step towards the bag gives you balance, and it gets you under control while you're catching the ball and getting ready to throw it for a middle infield.
Set you up for your next step.
And all those things, Dan, you're talking about, all those variables, by the way, you have to think of them immediately.
Yeah.
And then react.
Let's see it here. Out there. Thank you very much, Lance Lynn. Double play right on cue. St. Louis, Dan McLaughlin, Rick Horton, and Al Raboski with you. And the Cardinals turn this double play.
A lot of things happening here. First of all, Lance Lynn has to know the shortstop's covering, but Pete Kozma lets him know anyway. He should have that in his mind, as should Kozma, but he's giving him the verbal signal, and he took those short little choppy steps right at the bag. Kicked the bag, went straight to first base with the throw, right through the runner essentially, and that's the feel of being right around the bag for Kozma. Successful double play for St. Louis.
Could have been a very embarrassing moment for Tony Randazzo, our second base umpire, as he was trying to change sides from the first base side of the second base going to the shortstop side as the Lance Lynn's firing to second.
Embarrassing or painful?
Yeah.
I think embarrassing. Painful you can get over.
Cardinals had the bases loaded. Lynn struck out. And now it's Carpenter, Freese, and Craig here in the home half of the third. When the Cardinals score first, they have a major league leading 52 wins. Now, you touched upon it, the importance of trying to keep a team that's struggling down like the Cubs. Well, another aspect of that, 52 wins for the Cardinals when they score first, best in the big leagues. The 2-1 pitch.
I'll just put it this way. You say, like the record, 52-24. When the opponents score first, Cardinals do a good job of coming from behind in that sense, because it's 14-24.
Rick, I'll ask you this question as you took the replay on the double play. Kozma is saying, I got it, I got it. However, shouldn't that have already been decided with Lance Lynn saying, hey, I'm going to you, Pete Kozma? I mean, you always see the shot. I'm Lance Lynn. I'm pointing at Pete Kozma. It's you and I on this double play.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. You say that before the pitch is even made. You turn to the middle infielders, and on a double play, it's you and me.
And the catch made by Lake
mentioned he's
Out
a
left.
converted infielder, and he looked like very awkward. That ball, I don't know if it was knuckling. I don't think he lost it in the lights, but he was hit the ground hard, and De Jesus is replacing his divot. Not how you catch a fly ball.
Ouch. Well, Al, you talk about him being a converted infielder. He made 42 errors one year and 41 the next. That's why they converted him.
Yeah, it's not because he wouldn't put his bat in someplace.
Pretty easy decision, I might say.
He's from the shortstop factory, San Pedro de Macorís.
I love the way Al says that. Perfect Spanish accent. Say it again, Al.
San Pedro de Macorís.
Music to my ear.
Now only if we could get him to work on his English.
That is my third language.
Freeze is tardy with that swing. Struck out looking his first time up. Al, it's been too long since you and I have had the chance to work a Cardinal game together, so I had to say that to you. There's a liner that's gone into right.
Felt the love?
Absolutely.
Dan, you and I have the relationship that you can do whatever you want, and then I'll determine whether you live.
I know. There's been many apologies after games and after innings. MLB at bat. Available on iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com. Here's Craig, who was called out on strikes back in the first. Cardinals have struck out 3 times tonight, and that pitch is taken low and inside for ball 1. Wonder how much activity we'll see now that the trade deadline is come and gone. Texas Rangers pick up Alex Rios from the White Sox, as Rios had to clear waivers. We'll see how many teams will be active, and the trade deadline was fairly quiet. Not many big names were traded away. Chicago aggressive early on in the deadline. I say early on, I mean 2 to 3 weeks outside the deadline. Most teams weren't doing much. That's fought off, and a base hit into right field for Craig. The 2-out hit. Arguably the biggest name for Chicago that they traded away, Alfonso Soriano, now with the Yankees, but also Matt Garza heading to Texas. Remember, Feldman was also traded away too.
And I understand that the Yankees gave up a very good A-ball prospect to get Soriano, and there were folks in the Yankees organization that were furious about that deal. They didn't think, including Cashman, the GM, the deal was made above him. He felt as if they could have gotten Soriano just by taking on his salary. They didn't have to give him anything but a kind of a box of donuts, but they end up giving him an A-ball player who is very well thought of, and so the Cubs may have made out pretty well on that deal.
I think with a lot of the revenue sharing in baseball, a lot of clubs are in pretty good financial conditions. There wasn't a lot of, where you had to get rid of salary. A lot of, they seemed like the people that wanted to trade and add were all looking for the same thing, and in order to make a deal you had to pay a very high price, and I think that's why some of the trades were not made.
And ownership going over the head of Brian Cashman to make that move, the GM of the Yankees, as Holiday pops it up into shallow center. Looming A-Rod suspension. They felt, hey, we need to get a name in here, some type of offense, so Soriano was brought into the Bronx. commercial or one of the other players who've been providing St. Louis with 50-cent drinks. Got word that one of the players will indeed be walking out to 6 as a serious number. Keep texting the word 6 to 55155 to get great deals at On the Run even after the season ends. Rizzo, DeJesus, and Murphy for Chicago. Cubs started out 6-4 after the break. But just 2 wins, 9 losses in their last 11. Rizzo struck out on a 3-2 pitch. A fastball right down the middle, first time up. It's a Cubs team that lost 101 last year. Worst record than any Cubs team since 1966. Only Houston was worse last year. And we know 1908, last time they won the World Series. They've had the big trades we've talked about, so it's going to be some time before they turn this thing around. And they're asking for Cub fans to have patience. Man, have they had some patience. As Rizzo swings through strike 2. One 6-3 double play to end the top of the third. Now the Cubs are 5 for their last 30 with runners in scoring position.
Part of the problem, Dan. The Cubs are .224 average for the season with runners in scoring position, lowest in the majors.
Lynn at least knocks it down and makes the play.
Had a number of baseballs hit up the middle during this homestand. This one pretty harmless as it's all glove for Lance Lynn. Ends up making the play. We saw the line drive off the elbow of Shelby Miller. We saw Clayton Kershaw make an outstanding play up the middle. Number of line drives where hitters are just trying to center it using the middle of the field, Al, and can be very dangerous.
If you're a pitcher, you can correct that. One is hit the spot where your catcher wants it. When he wants it inside, hit the spot inside and throw it off the handle. But when you throw the ball out and wait for a hitter and he gets his arms extended and it comes back up the middle, it's going to come with a lot of force and a lot of velocity. So learn to jam people.
1 ball, 1 strike on David DeJesus. We saw the Dodgers come and go, take 3 of 4 against St. Louis. They do so without Matt Kemp, without a red-hot Hanley Ramirez who was hurt playing against Chicago. And oh, by the way, they're going to add Brian Wilson. Did it hit him? Yes, it did. DeJesus is hit by the pitch. And with 1 out, he'll be at first and brings in Donnie Murphy.
Lance has really been working inside on the left-handed batters, and then finally he does get one. Gets hit. Barely grazed him if it did. Might have got the uniform pants. Sure didn't alter the flight of the ball.
Donnie Murphy is grounded out to short. Popped up, shallow center. Out number 2.
You see the numbers, Ricky, for Donnie Murphy? Came in batting .385 with 3 home runs.
Yes.
I mean, here's a journeyman who has 18 total home runs, and he hit 3 of them last week. He's a career .205 hitter and was hitting .385.
2 of those home runs in 1 game.
Yeah. Enjoy it while you can.
Wellington, Castillo. On their bench, they have Diner Navarro. Cardinals apparently showed a little interest in him at the trade deadline after they got the news of Yadier Molina. You wonder how much that really shifted the focus of what the Cardinals were doing in the final 24 hours at the trade deadline, not knowing the severity of what was happening with Molina and saying, hey, we need to have some insurance here.
Cubs knew that Navarro was certainly being sought after by a lot of clubs, and they mentioned that the Cardinals would be a logical place for him. Navarro actually has left St. Louis today. He's getting an MRI because he had a collision at home plate. One of 3 Cubs players that got injured, Al, in the same inning of a game, and some pretty serious injuries too. And Navarro kind of got bowled over at the plate, and they're just concerned about some ligament damage, and they're checking him out, so he's unavailable.
The fly ball that's lifted out to deep right center should stay in the ballpark, and it will. Alan Craig is there and makes the catch. The Cubs have stranded 3. Cubs 3-2, but no score here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium.
Russin is showing that he can pitch inside to the Cardinals 3 times. He's caught the Redbirds looking. All the same location, right on the inside corner, about belt high, all of them resulting in the Cardinals not swinging. The Redbirds are going to need to find a way to adjust to that pitch. Clearly, he likes to try to jam hitters, as Al was talking about earlier, so you've got to open up a bit, maybe look inside, maybe try to yank one, and we'll see if the Cardinals can do that with guys in the middle of their order.
Career on the road. First 4, 0-3. Last 4, 2-0. Chris Russin, the lefty for Chicago. Pittsburgh in the top of the second, trailing 4-0. That's Francisco Liriano making that start for the Pirates. How much longer will that family last here tonight? Here's Adams. That floats in there for strike 1. So the Rockies lead Pittsburgh 4 runs, 5 hits in the second. Adams looks at a low strike. Lined out to short first time up. Adams here, then Cruz and Jay. And Matt Adams strikes out.
Good pitch.
We saw him go in on right-handers, but he's also not afraid to go in on left-handers as that ball tailed in and tied up Matt Adams. So I really love a pitcher that's not afraid to get in on the hand. You have to do that to establish your off-speed pitches away. Otherwise, you're going to be ducking line drive.
Ricky, you notice so much when we see on Fox tracks how many people swing, and a lot of times they're base hits on pitches that look like they've got to be 6 inches inside.
Here's Tony Cruz, who popped out first time up. I don't know if you guys saw this, but some sad news concerning the Pirates. A former player and a guy that we had here in St. Louis as a coach, Dave Parker, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He's 62, and many in the local media around the city of Pittsburgh are catching up with, you know, former Pirate greats to find out their thoughts on what's happening with the club and having a terrific season. And so Dave Parker said, hey, I'm following the team. I'm excited about the Pirates, happy for the fans. Oh, by the way, been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. He lives in Cincinnati, and that's why maybe not everyone was, or why they're trying to catch up with him in Pittsburgh. If I'm not mistaken, in the most recent series for the Pirates with the Marlins, the Pirates trailed every game, you know, by multiple runs, and came back and won them and swept them. So just because they're trailing in this one, don't get too excited.
Part of a magical season. You have those comebacks.
Sure.
Pirates have had their fair share. Walk-off home run the other day by Josh Harrison, as Cruz chased that pitch way out of the zone. Back-to-back strikeouts, 5 on the night. FoxSportsMidwest.com. It's your home for Cardinals news all season long. Look, game previews, recaps, latest updates, the features. Stan McNeil, Ben Fredrickson, all on FoxSportsMidwest.com.
You know, you guys talking about the Pirates and their come from behind victories. The Cardinals have 48 games remaining, including this one tonight. And if you were going to make a highlight film, guys, of all the great late inning comebacks that the Cardinals have had this year, it wouldn't be very long.
No, it wouldn't.
And I can't really think of a couple of times maybe where the Cardinals have had big comebacks late.
That's a fair ball off the bat of John Jay. Off the sidewall, Jay was hustling out of the box, so no debate there as to whether or not to go for second, and not played very well by Junior Lake. So John Jay is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles. First one off the glove of Rizzo. This one down the third base line. Most hits against Chicago since 2011. That's updated now with 44. Came in with 42, but 44. Ron Molina, Bruce, McCutchen, and Jay.
And all hitters from the National League Central, which makes sense.
Would they intentionally walk Pete Kozma again? And the answer is yes.
So the point in saying that there's 48 games remaining is the Cardinals have opportunities to build that video and build that resume for this season. Have some games where Matt Adams goes deep in the ninth, or Matt Holliday hits a gapper and the crowd goes wild here at Busch Stadium. We just can't do it yet, but winning teams typically have moments like that you can look back on and say that was the moment when we caught fire and everything happened good after that, and we just haven't seen it yet.
To further your point, you know, Rick, the Cardinals, when trailing after 7, have 1 win this year. 1. When they trail after 8, no wins.
You know, most ball clubs, those numbers would be fairly typical. But like Ricky says, the teams that win, you know, you'll see that. You know, it won't be a great total, but you know, they'll be you know, 6, 7, something of that nature. But it seems like the Pirates have had a lot more than that.
Another opportunity for Lance Lynn. Struck out with the bases loaded first time up. There's strike 1. Josh Reddick has 3 home runs tonight for the A's. They're only in the 6th inning. He had 2 home runs in his last 40 games. Strike 2 on Lynn.
Russin really is a 5-inning pitcher, and he's in the 4th inning. Won't be because of pitches if it happens tonight. It's only 66 right now.
Pittsburgh has come back with a run in the 2nd inning. It's now 4-1. They have runners at 2nd and 3rd, and Andrew McCutcheon up. Here they go again. So we'll keep an eye on that game throughout our telecast. Outfield very, very shallow. Lynn hits it on the ground left side. Taken there by Murphy. Lance Lynn has stranded 5 tonight. And we are scoreless here at Busch. Hit 95. That was in the 1st inning. The strikeout of Anthony Rizzo, and Russin is hit 89. So here we go again, fellas. You've got the lefty on the mound, not a hard thrower, and yet the Cardinals struggling against left-handed pitching.
Can you win at 89? The answer is yes, and that's what we're seeing from Russin tonight. Cardinal fans hoping for some action. What we've seen out of the Cardinal bats, lefty or righty, of late is feast or famine.
So the Cardinals with the 4 base hits. Chicago with 2. And there's no score. Starlin Castro, Darwin Barney, and Chris Russin. Castro grounded out to short first time up. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. It's another ground ball to short. Backing up just a bit, Cosma, and he makes the play. This is back-to-back starts, Sunday and again tonight, where Lance Lynn looks to have very good stuff, in particular locating the fastball.
Well, it's such a big pitch for him, and you think about his last time out, he went a season high, not only 8 innings but 11 strikeouts, and he just mixed things around. Here he's doing a nice job Don't need those strikeouts because he's been efficient with his pitch count.
Cincinnati in the top of the 8th, leading San Diego 7-2. Darwin Barney, single up the middle, first time up, and he looks at ball 2. Came into this season nearly a .270 career hitter, but just .213 this year. Noted for his glove, the Gold Glove winner a year ago.
A guy like Darwin Barney, very valuable on a team that's winning. And then when the team is struggling, you look at him and say, he's hitting .217.
They're 25 games above 500. You say, well, that glove has got us 25 games.
And it's helped us. And
we can live with 220.
You bet. It's been an integral part of our team, and he's had some good moments. But if you're relying on him to be your offense, you're not very happy most of the time when a guy's hitting just 211, 217.
And remember, he was a lot of the times hitting in the second hole, moving people along, giving himself up.
And he draws a walk as Lynn spins away in frustration. Second walk issued by Lance Lynn. You can decorate your den, man cave, garage, or school locker with the Cardinals canvas printed courtesy of Coke Zero. That's August 23rd. Cardinals take on the Braves. First 25,000 fans take home the Cardinals canvas print. Cardinals.com/promotions. And a strike at the knees to Russin, who sacrificed first time up as he bunted back to Lance Lynn. By the way, the last time a Cardinals 8th place hitter was intentionally walked twice in the first 4 innings, you have to go back to 1991. Orel Hershiser did that against Jose Oquendo. That's courtesy of our friend Tom Orff, who works for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, I think if there's anything, I know, Dan, you must be getting a pipeline to be able to swing tonight with the 2 intentional passes, where Rick and I have more the theory that you just dominate the 8th place hitter, get the 3rd out there, and then you have an easy frame the next inning with it one out of the pitcher. But Lance Lynn, when he walked Barney, you know, he showed his frustration with himself.
And it's what we've been talking about with Lance Lynn, kind of when he was struggling a bit. And really the frustration on the walk is, I can't believe I did that, and kind of not unhappy with anybody but himself. And there he's kind of snaps at the ball, and you know, you can do that for a bit, but if you stay there, you kind of summon some inner sense of peace there and just kind of move on. Otherwise you stop competing, and now you're thinking about the wrong thing. And Lance Lynn, when he wasn't pitching well, guys, he was doing more of that for a prolonged period of time and not kind of bouncing back quick enough.
And here we're talking about a guy that's tied for the league lead in wins at 13-5.
And by the way, I'm okay with walking the batter if it's Jose Oquendo. I mean, you don't want to pitch to Jose Oquendo.
I do. You know, he's 50-some years old.
I mean, back in 1991.
Oh, the secret weapon? No way.
Well, you two can live back in the glory days. I'll go ahead and walk the 8th place hitter, and then I'll have Lance Lynn strand 5.
It's worked.
It has worked tonight. Ooh, that was close.
Well, you know, this is one of the great things about baseball, and I kind of laughed when the word controversy came up when there was a situation with should Carlos Beltran bunt or not late in the game. That's not controversy. That's baseball. That's what the game is all about. Is I think for fans to be able to be drawn into what pitcher do you use and when. It's subjective. It's absolutely subjective. The manager has to make some choices about bunting and hit and run, and to me, that's what makes the game so interesting. There's not one way to do it. The manager has to be the guy to ultimately make that choice and live with it. And as Al says all the time, you live with it based on whether or not the players execute.
And fans usually react to it based
Sure.
on the player's execution. Controversy is in New York tonight.
A-Rod returns.
That is controversy.
Be curious to see the reception that he gets.
I was watching MLB this afternoon, and they had a reporter talking to the set, and A-Rod kind of saved him because about 30 cameramen almost ran him over. The cameraman trying to get a picture of A-Rod walking to the cage.
According to Bernie Miklas on Twitter, he's following the Twitter accounts from New York, and even they are subjective. People are saying they're booing him, and others are saying they're cheering him. So, again, it's always in the eye of the beholder.
That's something somebody told me the other day when he made his first appearance in Chicago, that there were a ton of Yankee fans there, and he signed autographs for 45 minutes.
Oh, no!
And he got right underneath the tag.
Boy, oh boy, from here he looked out.
Sure did. Looked like the throw. The tag was coming there, but he got right underneath it. Timing just a little bit off. I think they got the right call. The tag was applied before he got to the bag. And missed him.
Popped up to the right side. Matt Carpenter is there, and he puts it away. Midway through 5, and we're scoreless here in St. Louis. Girls are on a cross-country road trip to celebrate. 13 girls from around the country, and Cletus, the robot, will be at the outfield at Mike Shannon's Sunday at 11 a.m. You can meet the girls and Cletus Sunday and follow their journey on foxsports.com/road to launch. Cardinals have Carpenter, Freese, and Craig. And Koufax steals a strike.
Koufax had a little better curveball.
Well,
threw a little harder too.
Yeah,
I might
he did.
add. The result's the same.
As Carpenter hits it in the air out to left. And Lake puts it away. Matt Carpenter 0 for 3. It's a pitcher's duel here tonight. Freese has been called out on strikes and also flied out to right.
And if you think about it, historically, the Cardinals have always struggled with a soft tossing left-hander the first time they see him. And this is the definition of that type of pitcher.
One ball, one strike. Looked to be a high changeup that Freese swung through and missed.
Not the spot he was looking for, to be sure, but very kind of appetizing for David Freese when he saw it up in the zone. He just couldn't wait back long enough.
Times pitches are bad enough, they're good.
Exactly.
Two balls and two strikes. David Freese. Big gap in left center, and Freese goes that way. One out base hit for Freese. Second base umpire.
Tony Randazzo.
He's been knocked down nearly a couple of times.
Ball's finding him.
It can find you. But there's a difference. They got that pitch down, and this time David has a nice real swing at it, and he goes after the second base umpire.
I think Tony got a bad jump on that.
Yeah, not very good.
Here's Alan Craig, jammed back in the third, but still muscled it out for a base hit, and has been called out on strikes. That was back in the first.
But clearly the Cardinals understand by now how Russin pitches. Fastballs in, changeups away.
In the air, left center. Lake is back and has room. Dave McKay is going to have to do a little work with Mr. Lake out there and left. What's on tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Michael Wacha is returned to the big leagues. Great numbers down at AAA. And this season, 3 starts and the 1 win against the Mets. Roughed up against Arizona. Should have won his first start. That was the game against Kansas City that went into the wee hours of the morning.
5 hours and what, 32, 34 minutes of rain delay.
2 outs and a runner at first. Here's Holiday.
We talk about the in-game adjustments that John Mabry and Benji Molina make with their team, and if we're seeing this kind of pitching philosophy of Russin, certainly the players are seeing that. So the way you combat that is just say, look, give him the fastball away. Look for the fastball in and try to drive it. That's just what Alan Craig tried to do, and he very nearly hit one out of here.
Another rope off the bat of Matt Holliday. Misplayed out left. And Freese still nowhere to go except third.
Matt Holliday mentioned before the game, we were talking, said he was in the 280s. Been a while since he's been there, and now 2 for 3. He's up to 284. He's been a 300 hitter all of his life. It'll eventually get there. Another ball hit very hard, right?
It's missiles, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's why he hits into a lot of double plays, is he hits the ball so hard, and those are outfielders. But you don't have much time to react, and he gets a lot of them that go through.
2 on, 2 outs as Adams takes a ball. He was frustrated with the strike zone last at bat, lined out first at bat. Second time through the lineup, the best for Russin.
And that's why we say he's pretty much a 5-inning pitcher. Third time over 300.
1 ball and 1 strike.
In his 5th inning here. He's just a 500 pitcher. 2 hits out of 4 batters. Runners on, you see it's not quite as dramatic of a shift.
And the 1-1. Broken bat. Russin makes the play. Steps, throws, sends us to the 6th, and we're scoreless game 1. Cubs Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Hotel, the only hotels that give you home field advantage and an extraordinary Cardinals baseball experience. For reservations and info, call 314-421-1776 or visit HiltonSt.Louis.com. No score. 6th inning rolls in. And that pitch is taken at the knees by Cole Gillespie. And we're underway. Cardinals have had 2 good opportunities to score. They've stranded 8 through 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield is straight away, and here's a 2-1 pitch from Lance Lynn. Hit out of play, and it's 2-2. Misses on the inside corner. Lynn thought he had it for strike 3. Pitch count at 81 for Lance Lynn. Don't really worry about the pitch counts all that much when you think about Lance. 3-2 pitch. Jammed him. One away. Pitch up and in here, Al.
Great pitch. Went out in front, but in on the hands. Not going to carry very much.
Here's Rizzo. Called out on strikes back in the first. And grounded back to Lance Lynn. 0 for 2 tonight. 0 for 3 tonight. Lynn has allowed 2 base hits. Castillo in the second inning. And Darwin Barney in the third. He has walked 2. He's also hit a man. Cubs have stranded 4 in this game. Two down, and here's David DeJesus. He's flied to center and was hit by the pitch. Barely grazed him on the back leg. And that was in the fourth, and then a pair of flyouts, and Lynn was out of the inning. And a strike at the knees. Patrick Quinn is here at the ballpark celebrating his 5-year anniversary. He and his wife expecting their second child very shortly. So Patrick and Jen Quinn, happy anniversary, and celebrating here at the ballpark. 1-1 pitch. Misses just a bit low. It's been a big strike zone, but the players have made the adjustment, and it's been consistent tonight.
Well, you talked about it earlier. Players have to adjust not only to what the pitcher's doing, but also to the strike zone. There's not huge differences in strike zones, but enough to know whether on a given night an umpire is going to give you a corner, and you've got to be ready for it. No excuse.
Reds hold on. They defeat the Padres 7-2. Cincinnati started play tonight 7 games back in the Central, 3 behind St. Louis. A 3-1 pitch. Watch out here. Try the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. Only 250 calories, and that's only at McDonald's. Here's a 3-2. And he walked him. Third walk issue. With that, it extends the pitch count for Lance Lynn, who is due up fourth for the Cardinals. His pitch count at 89. Remember, he was extended in that ball game on Sunday. Blowout win for the Cardinals. And he was near 120 pitches that afternoon. Does that factor into what Mike Matheny may do tonight? We'll see.
I think you have to wait and see what the circumstances are. Like your thought, what you said earlier, that pitch count necessarily doesn't apply to Lance Lynn. He's so big and strong.
One ball, one strike on Donnie Murphy. Including tonight, Cardinals have 13 of 19 at home and 22 of their next 35. We know that St. Louis has not played nearly as well on the road here in the second half of the season. Very rough road trip they just finished up. And at home, St. Louis 13 games above the 500 mark. And on the road, they're 5 games above 500.
All you have to do is look at that scoreboard now of the Pittsburgh game and let's get this inning over with and go get some runs. As Pittsburgh now trails in the bottom of the second, 9-1 at Colorado. And remember, it is in Colorado.
A 4-run first and a 5-run second. 11 hits for the Rockies.
Who's the starter?
How about a guy named Liriano?
No, that's right.
How can that be? Must be a different Liriano.
Gave up more runs in the first tonight than he had collectively in 16 starts in the first inning.
Still in 2 innings, 11 hits, 9 earned runs with his line.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout for Lynn. He struck out 4 on the night. The Cubs have stranded 5. We are scoreless here at Busch Stadium. Lance Lynn has struck out 4, walked 3, given up 2 hits. He has hit a man. And on the other side, Cardinals have stranded 8 through 5 innings. That is a bit concerning if you're Mike Matheny.
Well, we heard the word pitch maker, which I'm not sure if that's one word or two. We'll have to consult Google on that one, but that's the description of this pitcher, Russin, and he's certainly been doing that, stranding the Cardinals. You mentioned 8 runners have been stranded, but really just 6 hits through 5 innings. He's been tough. He's established the inside part of the plate, shown that he can change speeds, and not a lot of experience. They said his numbers were actually better than what we'd seen. He should have won more games, so maybe we have a pitcher in the making here.
Line drive caught. Castro, 1 away.
And it's also what we also said, that you do not want to let a team like the Cubs hang around and think they can play with you. So right here, a hard hit ball, but Castro right there to haul in the line drive.
Now, you said that earlier. Mike Shannon also said it in our pregame show, and I think we all agree on that. When a team is kind of down, the best way to keep them down is to get the big inning early and say, look, we're the Kings here, and we expect to beat you.
A lot of truth to that.
John Jay 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles, average at 266. And now you can make it 3 for 3 with a base hit into right field. We talked about the change in a hitting approach for John Jay. Jim Hayes, what do you have for us?
Well, John was telling me today he's adjusted his swing and readjusted. He said he's keeping his hands more still and changed the position of the bat. It gets him into a hitting position earlier, but he says just as important is maintaining his belief in himself. He says he's always hit, and he knew he'd hit again. He says you work hard on making the adjustments, but you still have to be confident in your ability, guys. He says there's a balance there.
And he's right. He's been a 300 hitter at the major league level his entire career. Right at 300.
So 1 out, runner at first, and Jay. The Cardinals want to try to do something here. Generate some offense with their 7 hits, but nothing to show for it.
Cosma struggling. Boy, you put on a little hit and run, take a little pressure off him.
John Jay is dancing down there at the first base back and forth.
Well, he danced the wrong direction when that pitch was coming home. Missed the choreography there, and he's talking it over with Chris Maloney. They're trying to figure out this left-hander's move. He thought he was coming to first base, and pitch was headed towards home plate.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Pete Cosma.
A long time since Cosma hit a home run.
Gotta love Lance Berkman. Trade deadline, there were reports that he was going to retire and return about $4 million or so remaining on his deal. And he said, I don't know why these national guys are reporting that, because no way am I retiring. And don't think it's not about the money, because it is. And he said it's always about the money. And sure enough, Lance Berkman rehab assignment tomorrow. Round Rock. You know what? At least he comes out and admits it, and he's saying what 99.9% of anybody else would do. It's about the money. 4 million big ones out there. Yeah, I'll figure out a way to get out to Round Rock and limp around for $4 million.
Hey, Dan, let me just say this.
Hey,
in my era, we played for money. There just wasn't much of it. And once you signed a contract, you just went out there and tried to earn the money and tried to earn the next contract. It's always been about the money.
Well, in my mind, I would amend it to say the money is always a factor, but if the only reason you're playing the game is money,
well,
or any job for that matter has money as a component to it, and when you've got that kind of dollar signs and you're Lance Berkman, you've got to really hate your job not to kind of show up for that. And certainly it's a factor, but Lance has shown, as all players do, that they've loved playing this game since they were 5 years old.
Slicing down the right field line, foul.
And I like your amendment better to mine.
Well, but yes, money is a factor, and as Al, the game has progressed from the 70s. Players certainly had to have other jobs in the offseason at the time, but now players clearly don't have to do that. And they've got a limited time horizon to make their money, and they're going to do whatever they can to make the most they can. So it's America.
You say that, but they probably have a longer time span now than they did in our era because of how they take care of themselves and how the ball club cares for them.
3-2 the count. Let's see if they want to start the runner. Not running, and it's a double play. Very special moment before the ball game tonight. 13 local kids were sworn in to the Army. There they are. Their black T-shirts watching the game tonight here at the ballpark. And this evening, USAA would like to pay special recognition to all of our service members at home and abroad. Jones. Which team has been the biggest disappointment? 44%. And it goes to the Angels. Washington 15.5 games out. Atlanta wins again. The Braves have won 14 straight. Longest single season winning streak since the A's won 20 straight in 2002. They beat the Fish tonight 5-0. Talked a lot about Darryl Kyle, DK 57, but not as prominent a name or player. But Josh Hancock lost in an auto accident, the JH 32, out in the bullpen. His family has actually come back and raised money in his name and donated to Cardinals Care. Got to know Josh fairly well his time in St. Louis. Fun-loving, good guy.
Fun-loving was accurate. His father in the healthcare industry. I met his father before I met Josh.
2 balls and no strikes on Wellington Castillo. It's Castillo, Castro, and Barney. Lynn at 96 pitches. Will this be his final inning of work as he looks back the landing hole of that mound? 3-0 the count. Lynn, by the way, is due up first for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the 7th.
Mentioned his last outing, the high pitch count, 11 strikeouts. I would think he's getting very close here, but he's just been so good tonight. Just 2 hits, very few balls hit hard. Facing a guy in Castillo that the Cubs people talk about, they would like hope above all hopes for him to turn into a Yadier Molina type player. They respect who Yadi is, but they watch Yadi closely and they think Castillo has an upside to become a guy that has more power and is a better hitter than he's even shown.
Cubs bullpen is active right now. That's their lone lefty that they have, James Russell.
And we go to one of their better ones right away. The odd thing about this game is the score. The biggest reason is because Lance Lynn gets more run support than any pitcher in the major leagues. And here he's in a 0-0 game.
Beautiful night for baseball. The temperatures have been ideal. Very cool weather. What we're used to in August here in St. Louis.
That fourth walk may have sealed the fact that this will be his last inning if he can get through it.
Agreed.
The bunt is down, and it'll be Lynn. No, he's safe. Castro avoids the tag.
Yeah, but he goes out the baseline is what they're arguing.
Looks like our first base umpire may ask for a little help.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they're going to get together. He does go out of the running lane, and you have to credit Larry Vanover asks his fellow umpires to get together.
You are allowed to establish your own lane at some point, and the question is, did he deviate from that or not?
And he deviated it, and that's why they called him out. And then they'll explain it to Dale Swain, and we'll have a good argument.
Remember on Sunday, Lynn did not cover the bag at first, and on this particular play, looked to be a little confusion with he and Adams as to who was going to take this. Finally, Lynn takes charge.
Watch how he goes around the sliding pit area, or the cutout area. So it wasn't an issue of whether they tagged him or not. You know, you said he established his running lane, and that was down the white lane, and then he deviated to the right to get around the tag.
A couple of big steps to his right, more towards the Cardinals dugout, and you can avoid the tag. There's nothing wrong with ducking and moving and contorting your body, but those two big steps kind of away from the first base line are what the umpires finally agreed was enough to call him out of the baseline. And it seems like Dale Swain, I'm not sure convinced, but certainly understood that
he saw it
decision.
Too.
I would say so.
Jamie Quirk, our good friend.
Seth Maness and Randy Choate getting loose.
Hopefully they won't be needed until later in this game.
I like the visit from Derek Lilliquist right there after a play where there's a little confusion and maybe even a little bit of emotion from Lance Lynn.
A little bit? Did you see his reaction?
Okay.
I know why he went and visited him.
Let me say more, but for Derek to pick that point to refocus him in on Darwin Barney. Forget that play. It's over. The job now is to get this guy out, and let's just kind of forget about that. Get your emotions in check. I think very wise by Derek Lilliquist.
And he's had trouble with Barney tonight. 1 for 1 and a walk.
Pitcher's spot is on deck, and you'd have to assume that they'd go to their bench.
Logan Watkins.
So 3-0. Barney did single up the middle in the third and a walk in the fifth. Then would Mike Matheny counter and go to his bullpen once Logan Watkins is announced. And it looked clear there that he was pitching around Darwin Barney. Also have a situation where you need a double play. Do you go to Seth Maness?
Well, I think you had to go with the left hand. You go to your specialist, and then after Randy Choate gets the left-handed hitter out, then you go to your, Maness.
Known for years, StubHub, best place to get your seats, home or road. StubHub.com, now featuring fan rewards.
If pitching around Darwin Barney is what he was doing, I don't agree with that.
Dan, we don't. If that's what he wanted to do, he should be out of the game.
Did it look to you as if he was going after Darwin Barney?
I didn't say no.
Didn't look like it, but he should have.
If that's what he was doing, for him to go after, for him to walk an 8th place hitter in a 0-0 game in the 7th inning just to set up a double play makes no sense to me.
I would have him out of the game right now.
You don't want a lot of base runners. Darwin Barney's hitting .211.
Runners at first and second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Watkins was their Cubs minor league player of the year. Last year he batted .281, 93 runs scored, 20 doubles, 11 triples, 9 home runs, 52 RBIs at Tennessee. That's Double-A. Made his major league debut, 1 for 4. He was recalled on Sunday. He's a little second baseman.
Yeah, Darwin Barney missed some time, so he was called up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Outfield very shallow. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Strikeout number 5 for Lance Lynn.
Nasty pitch from Lance Lynn. That's as good a breaking ball as we've seen from him down and in. And here's why I say what I said, Dan. You've got to get out the pinch hitter and now
extend yourself to a
Junior
dangerous
Lake
guy.
instead of getting pitching. You're picking 2 guys to pitch to. And why wouldn't the first guy that you want to pitch to be Darwin Barney?
And Darwin doesn't have a lot of power. He's got more than some of the guys, but the .211 hitter.
Junior Lake has lined out to left. He has walked and also popped out to second.
Mike Matheny banking that Lance can get out of this inning and then pinch hit for him and make him a winner.
Pitch number 111. Further the point of what Rick was just saying, Junior Lake has 29 hits since making his debut back on the 19th of July. 3rd most in baseball. So if there is a guy in this lineup you point at, you say he doesn't beat me, maybe this is the guy. Make that case. 3-0.
He's just spinning off and throwing the ball like that when he's trying to get him out.
Swinging away on 3-0. A 3-1 pitch to Junior Lake. Time is called. How about that? Young guy called up, swinging away from his. He's swinging out of his shoes there on 3-0.
Sure was.
That's why you worry about these guys, because they don't know where they're at.
Line drive and a base hit into center field. They'll test John Jay. Throw to the plate. It is not in time. And the Cubs have the lead. It's 1-0 here in the 7th. RBI number 9 for Junior Lake. Wellington Castillo, not known for his speed, scores on the base hit.
They put everything behind the throw and just up the line a little bit. If it would have been closer to home plate, he's going to be out. But Tony have to come up the line, allow the runner to get by him.
Love the effort here, though, of Cruz trying to reach back for the tag. Had to wait for the ball first. Pretty good throw from John Jay. Frustrating turn of events here in the seventh.
Runners at second and third. Up and in to Gillespie. And it hit him. Second man that Lynn has hit tonight with Rizzo due up. You got to think that Mike Matheny goes to Randy Choate.
Have to.
5 walks, 2 hit batters. Just 3 hits allowed. But they got the run.
To face Anthony Rizzo. Chevy called to the pen. 2.55 is his ERA. This is why he was signed specifically for spots like this. As Lance Lynn is on the hook right now.
Think about how helpless it is for a starting pitcher. You can't control what your team does offensively, although he did strand a few runners himself as the pitcher, Dan, as you mentioned. But if the Cardinals had 5, 6, 7 runs that they typically get for Lance Lynn, he's walking off the mound to a standing ovation here tonight instead of the frustration that he's feeling. 3 runners aboard and no chance to win this game.
"13 big league campaigns for Randy Choate. Bounced around but found a home with a 3-year deal here with St. Louis. It's amazing about Choate coming into, now they want to go over the signs, make sure they're on the same page, but thinking about a guy that is now a left-handed specialist. When he was initially drafted, he was a starter coming out of Florida State. It was Joe Torre that advised him. I was talking with Randy about this. He said, look, you need to get your sinker in order. If you can throw a sinker, you're going to keep lefties honest. You're going to have that ball run in on them. You're going to get ground balls, and you're going to have short innings. Graham Lloyd's a guy that you could follow. Remember Graham Lloyd?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Randy will tell you that Joe Torre was instrumental in his career, and also Joe Madden. Joe Madden, when Randy was with Tampa Bay, had a sensational season. They went to the World Series, and Costly game early on. Gave up a couple of hits. Joe Madden next day said, I'm coming right back with you. He said at that point forward, stop looking over his shoulder. Confidence, such a key part of this game.
And Dan, that just that little statement right there, looking over your shoulder. If a pitcher can get over that, he can have a career. If he can't get over that, he won't be in the big leagues long. Meaning you're on the mound and you're always looking over your shoulder to see who's warming up. You know, if this guy gets on, am I out of the game? And you're worrying about everything but getting out the hitter. You're worrying about things that are beyond your control.
How about the importance of having somebody like Joe Torre tell you, yes, you can do it? And being visionary enough and smart enough as a coach and evaluator and a developer of talent. You know, I don't think we give enough credit to the fact that when guys get here, somebody has said and identified something about every player on this field that if you hone in on this, you can do this. And the player bought in, believed it. They had to do a lot of work on their own after that. But there have been coaches contributing along the way, to be sure.
Now, Randy Choate wants to be used an awful lot. Came in with just over 300 innings in his big league career. I mean, that to me is astonishing when you think about the usage. Tons of appearances, but just not a lot of multiple innings. But the thing I was going to say to both of you guys is that if you have a sinker, if you get too much rest, is that problematic for Randy Choate? Because you come in too fresh, it straightens out. That's up the middle. 2 runs in score. 3-0 Chicago. Rizzo up to 65 RBIs.
What we talked about earlier, you let a team hang around, then they think they can beat you. Cardinals with very little offense here tonight. Cubs now starting to get a sense that maybe this game is theirs. 3 runs, 7th inning.
Very little offense is the phrase you use to describe it, Rick. And it's becoming a point of serious concern right now for this club. And it's a lot of singles. Club not hitting for power. And it's starting to add up.
Just had that assembly line offense where didn't need the home run.
Right.
Just kept on going, and then they had the phenomenal average and still do the best average with runners in scoring position. But now they're not getting runners in scoring position. Get on, but very few times where someone reach second or third base, and now you're not getting those hits as frequently.
There's a good slider.
Very good slider.
One-two pitch. Struck him out. Time to stretch. Cubs have the lead 3-0 here in game 1 of this weekend series. Martinez and Keith O'Brien and Keith Oberman of our esteemed crack staff came up with this. Kentucky, Ole Miss. Well, these two guys know each other and have seen each other. Russin 6 2/3 for Kentucky. Lance Lynn 3 1/3. Little SEC baseball.
It's outstanding that they came up with that. Russin picked up the victory that particular day. And he is doing a number on the Cardinals here so far tonight. And he is done. And now it's going to be up to the Cardinals to get after the Cubs bullpen. James Russell, their lone left-hander in their bullpen, having a very good season. ERA under 3. And he's been a busy left-hander at that. This is game number 57 for him.
And the way the Cardinal bench is constructed, Adron Chambers will pinch hit against the lefty. And Mike Matheny really doesn't have much choices. He got Beltran, but as he told you, he needs a complete day off. You have your backup catcher Johnson. You don't want to use him. And then you have 2 more, or you have Descalzo or Chambers to pick from, both left-handed hitters.
And a short bench, too, because the Cardinals have the extra pitcher for the time being. Just 4 players on their bench.
There'll have to be a transaction made tomorrow to bring Michael Wacha to the roster. He'll make the start tomorrow. By the way, Dan, Keith Moreland, who you did some games with Texas, he told me, he said, we used to always beat up on Wacha. He goes, the only one I'll root against is an A&M guy. He said Wacha would always be leading the league in ERA, and then he would come. Moreland, all of a sudden, Wacha would pitch against Texas, and he said we would just pound him for 8 or 9 runs.
I saw Michael Wacha a handful of times pitching at College Station, then saw him down at Texas. Also had him as Chambers strikes out. Also had him, and he's right. Texas had their ways at times with him, but also saw him in a super regional pitch against Florida State. Now the Cardinals did not miss a start apparently the year before they drafted him. You know, at one point they had 3 or 4 guys watching Michael Wacha, and the amount of homework that these guys do to find these players, it would shock you.
Well, you're watching him not just for how hard does he throw, because you can get anybody to work a radar gun that could let you know what that number is, and they can email it to you. I mean, that's one thing. But how does he pitch in adversity? How does he handle a tough situation? Does he have a little extra hop on his fastball when he needs it? Does he seem to have a feel for pitching? Does he have body awareness? Does he seem coachable? What do his teammates think about? I mean, you become an investigative reporter almost, trying to find out the character of a player before you draft him. I think the Cardinals do a great job of that.
2-0 the count here on Carpenter. Cardinals offense tonight with the 7 base hits, 5 of those singles, and then 2 doubles off the bat of Jay.
And it almost starts with a scout having a network, knowing college coaches and high school, and even bird dog scouts, guys that are kind of help out a little bit. And then, you know, you get that area, you get that scout that watches it. He's in the area, called an area scout. Eventually you get to the cross checkers,
right,
get to the national guys, and you know, you'll have 3 or 4 different guys come and watch a pitcher, you know, when they're going to make that high a selection of them.
The 2-2,
including the general manager and farm director and everyone on down.
talking, Dan, about the Cardinals offense. I believe, as I think we all do, that Matt Carpenter is the catalyst. 0 for 3 tonight. Now 0 for 4. The Cardinals offense has seemed to follow his direction.
James Russell has come into the game and struck out 2. Time now for AT&T Uverse Rewind. Russin, 6 innings, 7 hits, no runs. Lance Lynn, 6 2/3, 3 hits, but the 5 walks. Hit a couple, 3 earned runs. Rizzo, 1 for 4, but that 1 hit, a big one. Single with 2 outs. Russell strikes out 2. Dale Swain goes to his bullpen. When we come back, you're watching Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. Big crowd here tonight, but yet they have been quiet. Cardinals being shut down by the Chicago Cubs. It's 3-0 to play in the home half of the 7th. And Blake Parker is part of our Chevy call to the pen, making just his 6th appearance of the season.
Young man that went to spring training as an on-roster invitee, originally selected by the Cubs, 16th round of 2006 draft. Had some elbow issues, and we need to call our area bird dog. We'll call Tom Pagnozzi to find out about Blake Parker. He's from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Will we see him hit tonight? Carlos Beltran
getting ready. As we've mentioned many times, there's a cage below, actually a very extensive group of cages below the Cardinal dugout on the way to the clubhouse, right before you get to the video room, which is right before the clubhouse, and players can take swings there, and a lot of the bench players will do that situationally. They'll get ready for an opportunity that might be looming. John Mabry, Benji Molina will send them down there, and coach will go with them, throw to them, do some tee work, get them ready.
Two and 0.
Parker's been around several different years in and out of the Iowa Cubs franchise. Their AAA affiliate, and he holds the career record for saves there at 41.
Crowd tonight of 42,664. 42664.
Looking forward to watching Eduardo Sanchez eventually in this series. former Cardinal.
Former Cardinal was recalled yesterday.
The 2-2 pitch. David Freese. Rizzo, well off the line, steps on the bag. 3-0 Chicago after 7 innings of play. Just across the way, Pat Paris with a Bomberito Sports Update. Pat? All right, thank you, Pat. Trevor Rosenthal in our Chevy call to the pen. Hard-throwing right-hander. Appearing for the 52nd time. So Cardinals trail 3-0 here in the top of the 8th.
One of the things we love about Trevor is not only does he throw hard, he has swing and miss stuff, but just 11 walks for a guy with electric stuff. That's a pretty good number. So his whip is low. Not a lot of base runners against Rosenthal, and maybe tonight will be one of those Cardinal comebacks that we've been hoping for. They've out-hit the Cubs. They just haven't put them together.
You know, people don't want to hear this. People don't want to realize it. But you think about Rosenthal and even more so Mojica. They haven't pitched any meaningful games for a long time. And barely even pitched. You know, I think Mojica had one appearance on that road trip, 11-game road trip. He hadn't had a save opportunity since the last homestand.
Mojica, colorful personality that he is. Two and two. That's fouled back. Tommy, our director, always finding the great shots throughout the ballpark. Talked about it earlier. Cardinals one win when trailing after 7. The strikeout of Donnie Murphy.
When do you think the last time the Cubs shut out the Cardinals here in St. Louis?
I'm guessing we're going way back for that.
I'm going back a ways.
I'm going to guess Greg Maddux.
Nope.
Not that far?
Tell you what, you mentioned the guy that tonight who lost the game, Fernando.
So 1990, is that right? 91 maybe?
97.
97.
June 23rd, 1997. Jeremy Gonzalez shut out Fernando and the Cardinals here in St. Louis.
He was still pitching in 1997. Man, oh man.
It's according to the Cubs radio.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Third Cub that's been hit. This time it's Castillo.
'97 does seem awful late.
Rosenthal hits his 6th man this year.
The ball just took off, and Castillo tried to get out of the way of it, but couldn't. Good thing that was a glancing blow. Sometimes it's effective to be a little bit wild.
Don't know about what may happen with an Edward Mujica after this season is through. Rosenthal would certainly get a look. Closer if he's not starting. That's a base hit out to left. Don't forget you also have Jason Mott returning. Throw into second. Safe. Starlin Castro in with a double.
Give him a little credit to notice that Castillo was going to go to third so he could go into second. Heads up play. You don't always say that about Castro, and young player, and you hope he still starts to learn. Said his defense has improved. And he's watching now the runner ahead of him. When he sees he goes to third, he goes to second.
That takes the double play out of order by allowing the trail runner to get to second base.
Steele feeling pretty good about his running speed today. Remember, he was one that scored that first run.
That's it out of play.
Close play at the plate.
Fernando Valenzuela, by the way, did pitch for the Cardinals in 1997. Finishing out his career that began in 1980.
I saw him make his major league debut with the Atlanta Braves then. The end of the September call up in '80.
This is where Rosenthal can get away with mistakes, overpowering stuff, and with that stuff can get a strikeout, get out of a jam. Barney having trouble catching up with his fastball, and real key walk was just an inning ago. Darwin Barney and Lance Lynn.
And perhaps a key moment here too to keep this game close, and the swing and miss stuff of Rosenthal might come into play here.
You know, people say today's hitters, doesn't matter how hard you throw, they eventually will time it. But then if you throw and he has a very good changeup, breaking ball, but if you throw those and you get beat on it, they criticize you for getting beat on your second best pitch. Sometimes you just got to forget about what the critics say and just go after them however you want to get them out. Cody Ransom on deck.
Ground ball, and it stays on the infield. Big out there, 2 away. Already seen Logan Watkins, and now we'll see Cody Ransom. So with the infield playing in, Pete Kozma going to his left to make this play.
Drawn in infield means that the runner at third base is not going to go on contact because they'll be out at the plate, and that's the gamble you take. So not the swing and miss stuff of Rosenthal, but he's able to get Barney to hit the ball kind of gingerly to the left side. So nice job there, but more work to do with Cody Ransom.
In the dirt, kept in front. Two balls and no strikes.
Rosenthal just kind of all over the place right now. We're seeing his mechanics a little bit off. Something we rarely see.
Good tailing action. 89 miles an hour on that pitch.
Change up. Good arm action.
Doesn't get the call, and it's 3-1.
Just add 200, 201, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs. Two for 8 with a homer and 3 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year.
Bases loaded. And Mike Matheny back to his bullpen.
One thing, you don't want Rosenthal's pitch count to get up too high. You want to be able to use him the next couple days.
I think that's why they're doing that here. Talk about it when we come back. Maine is coming in. Of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Seth Maness, bases loaded. Chevy called to the pen.
Tuesday night, Seth delivered his 12th double play, ground out, and upped his stranded runner total to 28 out of 32. He can get out of this jam. Just a ground ball machine. Ground ball should do it. Keep it a 3-0 deficit.
One ball and one strike. Junior Lake scored a run back in the 7th. RBI base hit in the 7th as well. Got the Cubs on the board. Gillespie was hit by a pitch, and Rizzo delivered with a base hit that scored 2. In the air out to right, Seth Maness comes in and gets the final out in the top of the 8th. Light music first. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, it's great to see father and son, or in this case, sons, taking in the game. And from that father-son moment to that. And then Pedro Strop comes in, and I need a tissue. Emotional right now.
Future closer, by the way, of the Chicago Cubs, many think. Our Chevy called to the bullpen. He has outstanding stuff. Really a good breaking ball.
Rick, I'm emotional.
Well, you'll get better, Dan.
Look at that. Fun at the old ball yard, Rick.
Well, it'd be a little more fun if the Cardinals could find some offense, Dan.
Let's go, Horton. Al, where are you? Come on.
Doing everything I can.
Give me that look. I'm trying to get things going.
Well, I think the only guy that can get things going.
You're talking to the wrong guys.
and Craig, Alan Craig.
This is the night they come back, huh? Maybe so.
There's that nasty slider.
Yeah. When you see a guy like Craig buckle, yeah, knee buckling like that, it's pretty darn good. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Craig. Fought off a pitch earlier tonight. Hits it in the hole. And Castro somehow comes up with that. Out of his glove, into the hand, then slings it over to first. Thank you very much, he says. The way that he fielded that looked like he was going to boot it too.
Quick reactions. He did boot it, but the hand was there. And so was the arm.
Up again, and he'll get in this game. Love to be at a save situation, but he needs the work.
Pitch taken low by Holiday. He singled up the middle, also hit a rocket to left center, 2 for 3.
I'm going to go back to the job that Lance Lynn did today. The line is not very fair to him. Gave up a 3 spot in the 7th inning and behaved himself into that a bit. And now a Cardinal is hit after a number of Cubs have seen pitches inside. They hit Matt Holliday with 1 out. But Lance Lynn, I think, pitched pretty well today. And if the Cardinals offense had been what we think it should be, then he's had a nice game, picks up a win. Everybody's happy with the 3 hits in 6 2/3 innings of Lance Lynn.
Totally agree, but I don't like the idea of 5 walks and 2 hit batters.
Agree, no doubt. No doubt.
And that's what got him in trouble, was the 2 walks and a hit batter in his final inning. Only gave up 1 hit that inning. Lance did. And we could be looking at a 1-0 deficit if Randy Schote would have done his normal job.
Mentioned that the Braves have won 14 straight, and Detroit, they're trying to win 13 straight. Miguel Cabrera with 2 outs in the 9th. Home run off of Mariano Rivera to tie it up. Here's a 1-1 to Matt Adams. Here it comes.
Matt, think it's a pinch hit appearance.
Three pinch hit home runs.
3 pinch hit home runs, but just.
I like the way you're thinking, Al. See, Danny's trying.
He's trying.
And so are the Cardinal batters.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Adams. That's outside.
I don't know. Matt have those 3 pinch hit home runs, but he leads the National League with a .357 pinch hit average.
Well, if Adams would get on, is Carlos Beltran, well, that's your answer. Would he even be available to pinch hit? There it is.
Well, when we saw him down in the runway fiddling with the bat and everything, that was your answer. He's just chomping at the bit to get an opportunity now. If he launches one, he can just coast around the bases.
Adams with a high fly ball into deep right center. That'll stay in the ballpark as the catch is made. Boy, he just missed that, didn't he?
Had such a good feeling about that at bat for Matt Adams. It just seemed like a kind of guy he could hit, and his swing certainly has been good in the last week, shown some ability to hit the long ball. Just thought that might be just the right spot. So Carlos Beltran will be saved for a later time, but we will see him eventually.
Cruz got robbed this last time. Maybe he can just push the Beltran AB a little further down the line.
Kind of an odd question, but would you hit Beltran for John Jay, who's 3 for 3?
If he had a chance to tie it up, have to take a hard look at it.
No.
Only problem is you've used Chambers, so you got to think about who you're going to put in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, you could, for an inning, you could get by with it, but
the idea, though, is not to play him. Then,
well, I think save him before you can win it.
You're running out of outs.
When you get back to the top of the order, you're not going to pinch hit Beltran for Carpenter, Craig, Holiday. So Cosma for sure, but if John Jay hits and makes the last out this inning, then you're using him in a leadoff spot.
A 2-1 pitch here to Cruz. I'm with Rick. I think if you get the tying run on, Beltran has got to have a chance to hit.
See, that's the beauty of baseball.
Exactly.
We're right, you're wrong. Next pitch is strike. No, wait a minute.
I'm saying it would be the hitter who's going to determine who's right and wrong. But there is no right or wrong. It's just the execution of the player. But the beauty of this game, it allows you really to second guess managers.
And we don't have to worry about it. Strikeout of Cruz. We head to the ninth. Chicago on top, 3-0.
The ninth in St. Louis. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Jim Edmonds are standing by. The Cubs get to Lance Lynn in the seventh. They'll look at where Lance went wrong. The Cardinal bats looking for a wake-up call. Plus, it's Friday night, and somebody is getting a hungo. Edward Mojica on to pitch for the Cardinals as we head back to the booth. And Dan, Al, and Rick, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. So Mojica will face 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for the Chicago Cubs. And it's part of our Chevy call to the pen. 48th appearance. Tremendous season. You talked about the control that Rosenthal has had. You can't get much better than what Mojica has put together this year with nearly 40 strikeouts to 2 walks.
Incredible percentage for Mojica. And when your closer is a guy that's just pumping strikes and has that trick pitch of his, it's not the pitch people haven't seen before, but he has the ability to really disguise that changeup, and guys just do not pick it up well. Been such a good asset for the Cardinals.
But here he is. He gets tied for second in the National League with his 30 saves, and I don't think he's had a save opportunity.
There's a fly ball out to right for out number 1.
Since August 25th. That's when the last day before we went on that road trip. excuse me, July 25th. Check it out. You get number 30 then?
Just thinking about this the other day off the top of my head. Just thinking about dominant closers where their best pitch has been the changeup. Trevor Hoffman comes to mind. And at least for a dominant season, Edward Mejica, you want to call it the changeup or the splitter or the split change, some are calling it, but it has been a dominating pitch this year. There it is.
I remember he was in a bullpen with Trevor Hoffman at one point with San Diego, so Trevor was part of that development of that pitch, or gave him the confidence to start utilizing it to become so effective.
How did that bullpen ever give up a run?
Fly ball lifted to left, and on the run, it's Matt Holliday. Jim Edmonds, who's a part of the post-game show, texted me and he said Eric Gagne was another one that guy that came in that was throwing triple digits, but then could pull the string.
Back to Elroy Face and the fork ball, and Suter with the split finger. Got Rivera with the cutter. All he fingers was really his slider.
We have seen when Mejica has struggled, which has been few and far between. It's on the first pitch. Batters are hitting .529 against Mejica on the first pitch, and it's also one of the reasons why he has these quick and efficient innings. All other accounts, hitters batting .143. So that first pitch, they know, be aggressive. He's going to throw you a strike. And sometimes Edwards able to pick up very quick out.
Isn't that interesting, Al? Because it almost sounds counterproductive to what people talk about. Well, get deep in counts, let the closer work, but really, you'd almost be embarrassed to go out there and have a 3-pitch ninth inning because you're trying to hit that first pitch. But that may be the best approach against Mejica.
And I'm shocked that people are hitting that hot. You go up there in a cold at bat, and a lot of times you want to swing and you take the pitch. Most of the time you'll foul it off. If you do put it in play, a high percentage is going to be caught. To hit, they hit 500,
529.
Now that's 529, and that's one of the deceiving things about that stat. You could have fouled off the first pitch 20 times, 20 different at bats, and that doesn't go into that stat. It's the ball's put in play on the first pitch. What happens? So there are times where guys are fouling that first pitch off. But if they put that first pitch in play, that's the one that generally has the highest probability for them to be successful. And that's true across baseball on the first pitch of any at-bat to any player at any time.
Bottom of the ninth. How about a comeback tonight? We'll find out. was 1-0, and this base hit off of Randy Choate scored 2. Nissan drive of the game. Rizzo with RBI 64 and 65, and the Cubs have a 3-run lead. Last time that we saw Chicago, a lot of talk about Kevin Gregg and what may happen with their closer, who's really been a nice find for the Cubs this year. Longtime major leaguer, but was looking for a job. Got one with the Chicago Cubs. Made the most of it. We thought he'd be traded. Chevy called to the pen.
Those blown saves in the National League, and Chicago on top. Kevin Gregg's got 23. He was 12 for 12 in save situations before he suffered his first blown save. That was June 29th. 6th time he's been at the 20 save mark. He picked up number 23 on Wednesday. That was a scoreless 9th inning in Philadelphia. Has 167 saves and 552 major league appearances. 8 starts with the Angels, Marlins, Cubs, Blue Jays, Orioles, and he signed, like you said, a minor league contract with the Cubs this year after being released from Los Angeles.
Here's a ground ball that stays fair, and John Jay is retired. First time he has been held off the base paths tonight. 3 for 4 night, pair of doubles, a single. Cardinals with just 7 hits. The Cubs only with 5, and yet they have a 3-run lead.
Scalzo will pinch hit now.
Mike Matheny, right now, your mind is turning, trying to think of ways to jumpstart your offense. Put Freese in the 2-hole tonight. David did have a base hit back in the 5th. The offense not hitting for power. And again, just 7 base hits tonight.
No way to deny it. You're really missing Yachty's bat in there. And of course, he was National League leading hitter when he went out with the inflammation of his knee. He'll come back on the 15th, first day he's eligible.
And we can all think of a time this year where the Cardinals were hitting so well collectively, scoring so many runs. We just had a sense that this is the best offense that we've seen in a long time. So either they were overachieving at the time, or they're in a dry spell now, or maybe the truth is somewhere in between. But certainly they're capable of doing it, and I still believe Matt Carpenter's the catalyst.
I think you're right. And remember, we went on the 7-game losing streak and had the tough road trip. You know, he was over until the Sunday, the final game of the 11-game 10-day trip.
And Yachty was actually eligible for many of those games.
Yeah, Yachty had tailed off a little bit too. But still, just having him in there and his presence all the way around. But like you said, Tony Cruz done a nice job, and that's part of it.
May have chased the ball. Count runs full, 3-2, 1 out, nobody on. Lance Lynn right now is on the hook. Can the Cardinals come back and have one of those dramatic games that we were talking about earlier?
And otherwise, it would be the first loss at Busch Stadium against the Cubs in Lance's career. 3-0 with the ERA under 1.
Goodbye, and he strikes out.
Scalzo not happy with the call. Looks like it may have Just caught that inside corner. Frustration mounting.
Been a strike all
for
night.
St. Louis.
Hasn't it? Left-handed batters have been getting that pitch, and Scalzo just got thrown out. Mike's going to, in a polite way, try to say, throw me out too. I want to jumpstart my team, even if it's with 2 outs in it.
I may be in the minority. I thought the pitch looked pretty good.
I did too. Too close to take.
Now, what I'm sure Mike and what Daniel will talk about is what we've talked about all the times. Players adjust to the zone and saying, hey, that hasn't been a strike all night.
I think it has been, though.
I'm just saying what I think they said.
And I think the real answer will be somewhere closer to, we are very frustrated by the fact that we've got just 7 hits and no runs against the Cubs tonight, and we're going to let it out, regardless of whether it was a strike or not.
And Mike trying to show, back his players. We've seen that consistently. And he should.
Don't you think, Al, that's the emotion speaking there?
Yes.
The frustration?
Yeah, I mean, he was out there, and Mike Matheny does not use foul language. So he has to stay there a little longer to get the ejection.
Four for 15 with a home run against Kevin Gray. 3-0 pitch. Walk to Beltran. We'll see if we get a pinch runner here for Carlos.
Go Kelly. Never too late to jumpstart your offense, right?
Not sure you could pinch run for Carlos Beltran because you're going to need somebody to play the field if you.
I got Kelly playing everything.
There goes Carlos, and fielder's indifference.
Who said he doesn't feel good? His legs are tired.
2 outs, runner at second. Carpenter. 0 for 4 night. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the Cardinals down to their final strike, 1 and 2.
I want to know who's going to play shortstop when the Cardinals come back and tie this game.
Or Descalso.
It's going to be Tony Cruz. He's a third baseman.
3 and 2. Carpenter hits it out to right. And this ball is caught. And that's how the game comes to a close. That kind of night for the Chicago Cubs.
Another frustrating night for the Cardinal offense, and pitching was better, but not good enough.
Little energy in the ninth inning. Descalzo and Matheny get tossed. Matt Carpenter gives it a ride, but too little too late. The Cardinals managing just 7 hits today against the Cubs, and another tough loss.
The catch made in right by Gillespie. 3-0 Chicago.